21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
I got into trading when I was 15 years old, and after 15 years old, I was going into the Marine Corps at 17. So during that block period, I was studying, and through the studies, I've actually had one really big win from a pharmaceutical company, and it was a penny stock. So I put money into that. It was about $200, and I turned it into $20,000. And that was my first interaction with the market, and it became a big win. And after that big win, it introduced me that that kind of money was possible. So I wanted to go to the United States military so I could at least have food, water, and a gym paid for. And so no matter what, if I lost all my money, at least I know that my needs are met and I can just be a Marine. And as soon as I got in and I was able to actually start working as a Marine, I got a loan for $20,000 and I got credit cards for $40,000. And I put them all into a couple pharmaceutical stocks as well, thinking that I could replicate the same process. And I immediately put myself in $60,000 worth of debt 2 weeks into my job. Yeah, 2 weeks into my job, I went 60,000 in debt, and I was only being paid $30,000 a year. And at that moment, I really thought that I just completely ruined my financial life. So I had to sit with that for a pretty good amount of time. I didn't really get to change until 2021. So for 4 years, I was sitting in very deep debts that I didn't know that I could pay off, but I was still trying really hard to make the practice work again. And there's a really cool story that goes into how I was able to accomplish the rest of it. Being so young and being in debt almost instantaneously on credit cards and loans, I had to be very savvy with how to pay off those credit cards or how to pay that loan because my military paycheck wasn't even enough in some occasions. In the military, right, you finish boot camp, so you become a Marine. And when you become a Marine, you then have to go training for your job. So in the time of training for your job, all you do is go to class and you come back home. So you have a lot of time to sit down. So during that time, I took advantage of it to study and look up and research stocks and things. And that's just something that I was introduced to from my father. So I was carrying those practices. And as I did them, I was always told not to put all your eggs in one basket. But for me, I felt like because of the studying that I've done, that I could justify that rule this time and put that much money into something that I truly believed in and truly studied. But it's a pharmaceutical stock. So basically, they will try medicine and it'll go on a trial. And if it passes the trial, then it's great for everyone. If it doesn't pass, then nobody wants it anymore. So the $60,000 that I put into the stock, it's called KPTI. I put money into this. The trial happens and they failed. And I had $10,000 still left in the account, but no one wanted to buy the shares back from me. So there's no liquidity. So I can see the $10,000, but I can't sell it to anyone. So it was bothering me a lot. And I was really like on the phone with broker companies every day. I'm staying up super late, trying to call people to see like, how can I fix this situation? But there's no liquidity. So for me, it's like as a kid, when you're, I guess, in trouble, because I just got back from like being with my parents to going straight to the military. I was 17, going 18 years old. So like my stomach's hurting and I'm just like, dude, I don't know what to do. So I called my father and I'm just like, yo, like this is the situation. I don't know how I got myself into this. And, you know, my father wasn't really in a good financial position at the time to be able to help me with this at all. So it was kind of like, I don't know what to do. So he's just telling me like, you know, you're smart enough. You're smart enough for this, you know? So like, I'm sure you could figure it out. Use your resources, you know, don't give up on yourself. And I'm going to try to do what I can do. So my father told me that he would try and, you know, go do businesses and things like that. So he would try to send me money sometimes to help pay my credit cards when he can. And that helped a lot, you know? So it was really cool to at least have that relationship with my father and to be open in that scenario. So I think that's what made me feel strong in my chest as I continued my journey to say, I'm not doing this alone. So as I continued to walk, I'm going to school and becoming a Marine. And my constant battle in my mind is, am I really trying to become a Marine because I want to serve my country and I want, the heroism of it? Or am I just here because now I've financially locked myself to something that I can't get out of because I have to finish my contract or I go to jail, So like I was here for a reason and now that reason's completely gone. So basically the next 4 years of my life, all the money I'm going to make is going to go to these credit cards and they still won't be done because the interest rate will accrue. So I just didn't know what to do. It really beat me up emotionally a lot. And my friends in the vicinity, they don't understand how money works. So they're always inviting me out to drink. They're inviting me out for all these things because as Marines, like we live a very high tempo, high stress environment. So we're always coping, with alcohol, nicotine, bad habits. And for me, I didn't have the money to do it. So when we would be invited to go places to a bar or something like that, I don't have the funds. So I have to find a way to tell them that I don't want to go, but then they'll still drag me out. They'll still pay for me. I'll still get drunk. I'll still go home. And then I'll still feel like, what am I doing with my life? And why am I not focused on changing this? And that mental construct eventually led me around running so many laps where I was just tired of doing it. And I had to start telling people that I'm not deviating from my path anymore. I'm going to study this. So I was given an opportunity to go to Japan. And at that time, I had a woman that I was with since high school. So we were together for 4 years. And in that spectrum, I had to choose between the relationship of my past or like how I'm going to be in this future. And for me, I told myself in that financial position, like, you can't tie anyone else into this, So I had to kind of cut off everything and just let people know, like, hey, this is what I have to move forward with. So I go to Japan. And as I am in Japan, it's my first time being overseas ever. And I have no money. It's been my dream to go to Japan, but now I'm here for a military contract with no funds. So I'm here with no funds, military contract. Being there in the military, I was set on a deployment. And this deployment was the USS America, which is a really big boat. And basically, I'm going to be on this boat overseas in South China Sea for 9 months. And I'm not going to have any internet. And I'm going to be living inside of this boat. And for me, I'm a trader. And I don't have money, but every time my paycheck comes in, I try to put a little bit on minimum payments and use the rest of my money to see if I can try to make something happen, But now I'm about to spend 9 months with no internet. And that's the only way that I can pay something. So I was begging my unit and I'm like, I cannot go on this boat. Like, please do not send me on this. I can't afford it genuinely. And they were like, we don't care. Like, you're the only dude that can do this. Cause I was a pretty high level mechanic at the time. Cause I was only good at my job because I needed my job. You know what I mean? So like, I'm going to do this job at the highest level that I can to make sure that there's no chance of me losing this thing. So like, I literally had nothing else to do but to study the job and study the trading. So people thought I was disciplined, but I wasn't disciplined. I was just like, I was so deep in survival mode that I had to do everything that I was doing. So people really associated me with being a very disciplined guy, but I inherently learned what discipline looked like from the eyes of others because of how they saw how much I was working. But I'm working because I need this, So preparing for that 9-month experience, I printed out a bunch of things from Investopedia because the one thing that was bothering me when I went to go use the financial markets was the language. It felt like it was a completely different language. I didn't know what option contracts were or futures contracts or what is a 0 DTE and why do we have deltas and gammas. So there's just a lot of verbiage that was very new to me. So I printed out a lot of those things and I told myself, you have 9 months with no internet. You should know every word in this book by the time you get off this boat so you can change your life, I got onto that boat and I'm reading all the time, any chance that I get, and people see it. And one day I'm sitting inside this lounge and a group of this crew came over because we're on a boat. So they come and cruise, and they just asked me bro, you're sitting here every day. reading the same books every day. You don't talk to anyone. Like, what could possibly be good in this book that you're not like out here in this deployment? So I was just telling them like, I was told them my story. I'm learning. I'm trying to like get out of debt, like extremely. If I don't, then I don't know what my life's going to look like. I don't want to be in the military for another 4 years. Like my entire full attention is study and then wake up whenever they want me to and then work for them and then study. So if that's going to be the rotation of my life, then I need to fix this, and the only intention is for me to learn. So they asked me that question, and I guess it moved them a bit, and they were like, dang, okay, well, what can you teach us some things that you've learned so far? And that sparked like everything for me. The moment I was able to actually take everything that I was learning and like put it in English for someone else to understand it, it was like I got to teach someone the infrastructure of the finances. And now all of those complicated words became like components to things. So I was a mechanic in the Marine Corps. So when I was on this boat, I am supposed to be fixing trucks, but the trucks are in the bottom of this boat, right, at the well deck. And then everything else, we're on an aircraft carrier. So there's jets and there's all kinds of things on the top. So I live under the boat because I'm not very useful on this vessel, right? You're not going to drive into the ocean. So unless we port, like I don't really see the sun. So I'm just living in there reading. That being said, I'm working with engines, transmissions, right? You're working with air brake situations. So I'm really good at like knowing if something's wrong on a truck, I should probably check this, right? The troubleshooting aspect. So as I was teaching people the financial infrastructure, I started to realize that the financial infrastructure also is built the same way. We have engines, we have transmissions in our investment portfolios. Like, for example, ETFs, right? Exchange traded funds. Everyone has to invest in a mutual fund, an IRA, or a retirement account. And most of that money goes into ETFs. So ETFs are the heart of our American financial markets. So if we weren't introduced to it that way, we wouldn't give it that much severity. So as a young man hearing put your money into ETFs, it just sounds like some old guy trying to tell me how to manage my money. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. But as I continue to teach people, I realize why that is so important and why it's the best advice for the older generation to give the younger generation. It's put your money, live off of 60% of your income, put 40% into ETFs, right? Quote unquote, and you'll be fine in 20, 30 years. And that is like 100% so true, because if you believe that America will continue investing, then America takes mutual funds and they put it in ETFs. That's how it works. So learning that and teaching someone that on the boat has gotten me to make the financial infrastructure in English. And as I'm on that boat and people are coming to me and they're talking to me, I'm genuinely making it make sense for them, so much so that when we get off of this boat, after all of the classes that we've been doing so consistently, my life-changing event happened in 2021. So I get off of this boat. President Biden or President Trump is supposed to be inaugurated. And at that time, if Biden got picked, we were going to have the green energy plan. And while we were on the boat, in my book, I was studying and I was telling people like Tesla is going to be a super huge company. Electric vehicles have never been a thing before, but Tesla will bring it on the map. And there's this thing called sympathy plays. So when I used to invest into pharmaceutical stocks, if one trial for a certain kind of medicine won, then everything else associated in that medicine category would also experience a win from that trial. So that means if that stock went up 10, 20%, then the other stocks at least go up half that, right? 10%, 8%. Sometimes some stocks are so cheap that they go up more than the stock that actually won. So what happened for me was I told everyone that was on the boat that the president situation is going to happen. Depending on who gets picked, this stock can really benefit. So we were investing in Tesla, but Tesla was too expensive for me. I didn't have a lot of money. But for people that got off the boat, they were saving 9 months of their check because they didn't have any expenses. So like these guys, I'm telling you, it's the most craziest time of my life. These guys got off the boat, 9 months of saving money. So these guys got like $60,000, some of them $30,000, and like I'm only investing with $800, but I'm the most knowledgeable one at the table, and I've been teaching these guys. So we've been in an environment where like I was the smartest guy in that vessel, when it came to finance. But now we get off and we're almost like a team, like our own financial unit. And we go to Starbucks. We're in Japan. So at 9 p.m. at night is 9 a.m. in the States. And the market's going to open in 30 minutes. So it's nighttime for us. We're at the Starbucks. Starbucks closes in 30 minutes, but we just want to watch the first 30 to see who gets inaugurated. Biden gets inaugurated, President Biden. And these electric vehicle stocks we invested into, we used options contracts for 1 year out. These stocks were like penny stocks under $1. There's a stock called Solo, Arrow, so AYRO. There's Tesla. There's Dogecoin was also kind of going crazy as well. But those two penny stocks were under $3 a piece. So option contracts were literally a penny. Like you could buy 1 year out for this company for 1 penny. And these guys dumped $30,000 into this penny stock. So I had $800, and Biden got inaugurated. Electric vehicles boomed, and we've made 3 millionaires at that table. And myself, I was able to make $300,000, and like that was all after 9 months of study and 1 interaction. So I was able to pay off my debt, and I became like pretty famous on this small island. So after that experience, everyone went back to work and like telling people, we all bought new cars. So like we all had brand new cars and we're driving around. We would meet up at Starbucks. We made cars and coffee at the island because we finally had money for cars. And it was just really cool. The island's only 2 hours long. So like it's really easy to get eyeballs on just us only. And everyone's always just like, that's the man, me. And now I have random people asking me about their retirement portfolios and all these things. So I was like, sure, let me make a community. So I made a community. I've saw other people do it before. I charge people $30 a month. And within like 2 months, I've had like 150 members. So I went from having no money from, my military paycheck to having a really big investment boom and a business that had recurring revenue of like 3 to 7K a month, periodically. And it was just an absolutely insane version of my entrepreneur journey. From that experience, like I just felt like it was God's grace for me to experience something like that, and then realize like, dang, if you really study for something, if you really learn, the language, and you're really there presently and you want people to actually succeed, then you can pour into people and have them understand that like the risk that you're taking is yours, but if you're prepared for it, then you will receive the reciprocal, whether you win or you lose. But face it, and ever since that moment, I just can't hear people the same. I listen to people and I can almost hear the fact that they are scared of what they want to try, but you shouldn't have to be scared if you know you're prepared for it. And I've really proved that to myself during that time period. So I hold that standard till this day. So as a mentor since 2021 into our current day, I created my education company. So I've been running this education company for the past 5 years. And those people that were inspired from the island continued to become traders. And we found out about this thing called prop firms, proprietary firms. And proprietary firms, a really big issue was everyone wanted to replicate what we did that day. They wanted to become that millionaire overnight. They wanted to become that $300,000 trader overnight. But like that was a very unique situation, and I can't give you that again, but I can show you how to trade. And then through the trading, you can find opportunity. And when that opportunity finds yourself, you can participate the same way we did, but you need preparation to meet that. So I had to resonate with people and let them know, like, you have to calm your nervous system down and learn first before you can expect something like that. And people wanted to just follow me instead of learning. So I started paying attention to what attracted that kind of individual. What attracts the person that only wants to follow you and do what you do just to get what you get, and then they can walk off? Like, what do you get out of doing something like that? Because for me, living under extreme pressures of debt, I realized like financial infrastructure is important. Where are you going to get this money from to pay the bill? And where are you going to get money from to feed yourself? And what other things in your life do you need that also costs money? We don't categorize them most times. We just get one paycheck and we kind of divvy up into all categories. But if you can make a stream of income for each, then it's very different. So for trading, if you wanted to replicate what we did, you would have to find a really good opportunity, or you would have to get a large sum of capital. So if I were to give you $10 million and you could guarantee that you could just make 1% of that $10 million, you would make probably more than you make a year at a regular job. But nobody has $10 million, so they don't consider themselves a successful trader. But if we go online and we see successful traders, these guys are running $10 million portfolios and telling you that you can do it too. But it's like you can't because you don't have the access to that capital. So proprietary firms were interesting. So for this, you pay this fee. And when you pay this fee, kind of like if you want to become a truck driver, you would go to school, you get your CDLs. Once you get your CDLs, now you can drive this really big truck. If you don't get your CDLs, you should not be driving that really big truck. It's very dangerous for people. So with the proprietary firm, it's a certification. If you can pass an account after paying this fee, then you'll get access to the capital. And now you trade under someone else's funds and you split the profits with them. So they allowed us to get 90% of the profits and they keep 10% of the profits. And we were trading with $100,000 up to $1.5 million. So I was able to put my entire community when it was more accessible to the digital space, because I don't think people realize how much 2020 really did to technology and how everything we're able to do Zooms, we're able to invest in the markets from a digital space. So at that time, Robinhood, Webull, and all that stuff, we're able to invest right from our phone. So now you can also manage someone else's funds from the phone. So we have almost hundred thousands to millions on an iPhone, and we're just sitting there with two buttons, buy and sell. And if we can make a trade that makes 10% of that 100K account within the span of 30 days, I just made 10 grand. And I can pull out 9,000 and they keep 1,000. And then I can rinse and repeat. And if I ever fail, I get kicked off of the platform. I don't get penalized. I don't have to pay any money back. It's part of my contract. So when I lose that account, it's gone. I just have to retake the test again and then I can do it again. So I started that as my education company to avoid people from taking their savings, putting it into an account, trying a trade, losing it, and being like, oh my God, I just lost everything I worked for. So doing the proprietary route means you have to prove a strategy first before you even get access to funding. So it stops a lot of people from ruining their finances as they try to become a trader. So throughout that entire journey, I hit so many checkpoints in that spectrum that it allowed me to create my company, Overstanding. So at overstanding.com, it is where people can come and learn how to become an operator, not a trader. You know, a trader was kind of what I was doing when I was betting on if Biden or Trump would happen. It's an opportunity and I invest into it and I take the loss. An operator requires you to have a system, a chronological system where you learn step 1, 2, and 3 and what is required of you in those spectrums. And if you follow that along, you should be able to get the result. Or if the result isn't what's matched, you can go back into that system and change things. But if you don't know and you're not aware of that system, then you won't know how to become an operator. So through my education company, we teach you how to use our trading system, become an operator for it. And if you reach any wall in that space, we have all been through the same thing. So we can tell you, hey, you're going about it wrong. Do this instead. And it is the most elite guidance that I've had. So I've been able to have students reach 6-figure years in their first ever year of trading just by operating systems and meeting opportunity with preparation. In the moment when someone came to me on the boat and they asked me, you know, what are you learning and how can I learn it? And that started the classes that eventually led to the moment where we all met up at a coffee shop. We all saw the opportunity. We were all willing to put in the amount of money we were willing to put in. And we made a really big win off of something we researched. That moment is what everyone's always asking me for. And I wanted to replicate that same infrastructure that got us there by creating overstanding.com. So when people come to overstanding.com, we teach you how to research. You know, we teach you how to identify. We teach you the risk management. And through those processes, you become the operator, the person that is going to be able to take those trades and put yourself and identify those opportunities the same way that we did at that time. But it was difficult in the past to have that environment because we didn't know exactly what was curated to have it take place. But now, after trial and error in the past 5 years, we have this company, overstanding.com, that allows us to put people on the same track of education and have that expectation as you continue to learn and calm yourself and say, okay, through this process, I will become someone who can identify those opportunities. Prior to working with us, you may not know what charts look like. You may not know where to get your money, your funds, and how to start a proprietary firm. And most of those things are what you meet first, and then you turn away. But in here, it's part of our onboarding process. We work with you personally. We'll get on calls together. We'll walk you through how to set up everything all the way down until it's just you, the chart, and the buttons, and from there, it's just like driving. You didn't build your car. You just get into it and you turn it on, you put it in drive, you press the gas and the brake. That's what I want for the people who come to me as a mentee to experience. I want to give you that car, you drive it and you know how it works. And as long as you're a good driver, you manage your risk properly, or you take your risk properly, and the journey's yours. You can go to overstanding.com to get access to our free course. And when you log into your free course, you can watch it entirely. And throughout that course, you will learn how to identify, everything that we teach in the trading space. But obviously, without having that, then you would just be joining a subscription model experience. Go to overstanding.com, check out the free course. If you like what you see in there and you need more connection, my Instagram is Xavier, IMIT, and we also have the Mighty Network community, which there's a link for a free trial of 14 days on overstanding.com. You don't have to pay a single thing. You can just click the button, join the community, and if you've educated yourself through the course, then you can utilize the 14 days like someone would if they were a paying customer.
21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.